The 4 training circles might seem simple, but in reality, you've been applying them very effectively in your daily life. I often use this example in school settings, where we must apply these 4 training circles. However, this can be equally applied in the family environment. Let's look at the first element: ethics, wisdom, effort. We can call this the family culture, or the shared life philosophy of the entire family. This is the core, the soul, when building a home or a nest. When talking about building a home, the home itself is the core of everything. After identifying the core of your family home, we need to discuss the main ideas and values that need to be preserved. Going back to promises, once we've identified the core and written it down, once we've understood the common philosophy, we need to transform them into simple promises to practice. Start with things that are easy to implement first, things that can be done immediately. If you encounter difficulties, choose simpler tasks to do first. By choosing a few promises to fulfill first, family culture will gradually form in your home. This is a step-by-step building process, not something that happens overnight, but it will certainly create a solid foundation for a happy family. When stepping out into the world, you'll notice that each family member tends to have their own distinct personality. The father has his characteristic traits, the mother has her own distinctive features, and each child has completely different personal qualities. Taking my own family as an example, I have 3 children with 3 entirely different personalities, despite being raised the same way, sharing the same genes from their parents and grandparents. This proves that arguments based solely on genetics are never completely accurate. We need to understand that each living being has their own karma. 3 children means 3 personalities, or in other words, 3 different karmic forces. My eldest child is extremely intelligent. In any environment, after just 2 or 3 months, she would rank first in her class, sometimes first in the school, or even first in the district. This has been true from public schools to international schools. Once we had her try studying for a year at a Chinese language school in District 5, where they taught Vietnamese in the morning and Chinese in the afternoon. After just 1 year, she ranked first in District 5 in Chinese language. It's remarkable. She excels in every subject. In contrast, my second child struggles with all academic subjects. However, when it comes to perceiving issues, this child is very perceptive. They see things better than others, with studying being the only weakness because they dislike rote learning and really hate following their father's methods. In terms of willpower and effort, they surpass all 3 siblings in the house. Imagine my second child, currently in 10th grade, and for the past 2 years from 8th to 10th grade, we haven't reminded them once about exercise. Yet every day they consistently work out as regularly as clockwork, each session lasting about 45 minutes to an hour, and usually 3 times a day. On the busiest days, they exercise for up to 3 hours, and even on the lightest days, still more than 2 hours. That's not even counting the time spent learning martial arts. They exercise with complete self-discipline, waking up early to train, coming home at 11:30, and training again, returning around 5 and continuing, only showering and eating dinner after finishing, as regular as clockwork. Children like this have tremendous willpower and determination to maintain and strive to do everything better than others. They prefer self-motivation rather than being imposed upon by others, so our teaching approach must change accordingly. With different personality tendencies, we must adjust how we interact with each child. We cannot impose the same teaching method on everyone. Especially, we should not compare a child who struggles academically with one who excels. Unfortunately, many parents often compare their second child to their first, particularly when the first child is academically gifted. Gradually, the second child will feel inferior and may even grow to resent the first child. They might think, because my sister is too smart, I'm constantly criticized by our parents, and develop hatred toward their sister. This is entirely the parent's fault. Instead, we need to understand each child's personality tendencies to adjust our teaching methods accordingly. Based on this understanding of their character, we can interact with them more effectively. When you get home, try to think about what elements your family nest needs that you and your spouse can agree on. Which elements relate to ethics? Which elements relate to effort and focus? Which elements relate to understanding and learning together? What perspectives and goals need to be aligned? If spouses can sit together and maintain these values for some time, they will gradually become the family's shared value system to work toward together. Do we truly understand what kind of personality tendencies our husband has? Do we know if he prefers to talk a lot or a little? What are his genuine interests? And more importantly, Have we ever been truly gentle and sweet in dealing with people according to our partner's personality tendencies? When wanting to persuade someone, it's essential to understand their personality tendencies. This is the key to creating a harmonious relationship with mutual respect. For example, if they're an introvert and you keep dragging them out, inviting them to karaoke, thinking that taking them to karaoke or sightseeing will make them happy, this might not be true. Sometimes you're unintentionally torturing them. Just try dragging an introvert to karaoke and see what happens. You might only manage to do it once, and from then on, he'll never want to see you again. He'll think, meeting this person is such a hassle. They drag me into crowds that have no value. Conversely, if your person is an extrovert and you keep pulling them into a laboratory saying, look, this experiment is really interesting, and force them to sit quietly in one place to contemplate, that's how you torture an extrovert. With them, you should take them outside, creating a dynamic social environment. Therefore, understanding each person's personality tendencies is extremely important to interact with them properly and effectively. Of course, regardless of anyone's personality tendencies, core values like ethics, wisdom, and perseverance must still be maintained. No matter what their personality is like, we must still treat them on the foundation of ethics. It's not that we do unethical things just because we want to accommodate their personality. If we become overly clever, we might unintentionally turn into flatterers without realizing it. We might even become people who use tricks to win others' favor, which isn't good at all. The key here is to understand their personality to interact skillfully, but still on the foundation of understanding, living honestly, and having ethics with each other. So we've moved from the first circle, family philosophy, to the second circle, personality tendencies. Now we'll move to the third circle, skills needed in the family. In a family with parents and 2 children, each member needs their own skills. For elementary school-age children, getting to school independently, this is definitely an important skill, whether cycling, walking, or taking the bus. Going to the supermarket and shopping independently, the ability to handle getting lost. We need to train our children to know how to handle this situation. For the mother, domestic skills, basic skills in cooking and family care. For the father, basic repair skills for household electricity and plumbing. Common skills for the whole family. Reading skills. This is an extremely important skill. Books bring knowledge, belonging to the outer circle, but one must have reading skills to enjoy reading. If your child reads as slowly as a crawling turtle, they won't enjoy reading. We need to teach children how to read effectively, how to read aloud, when to just read silently and read with their eyes, how to read comics, how to read text stories. Gradually, after some time, they will naturally enjoy reading. We often identify very clearly what TV and refrigerator we have in our home. When buying a TV or refrigerator, we drag our spouse and children along to choose. But why don't we bring the whole family along when buying books? Is it because our consciousness is oriented too much toward food? That is the animal mind, the mind of beasts, always focused on eating. Meanwhile, the mind that aims to become a true human being must nurture wisdom and nurture the heart. And the food for the soul is the 3 treasure, is books, the essence of human knowledge. Try taking your children to a bookstore for 3 hours each week. Let them play freely there, and afterward, each child gets to choose 1 or 2 books. Parents should also select 1 or 2 books each. Weekly, families should have time together. It could be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Spend 45 minutes to an hour each week reading together, without watching TV or using phones. For example, after finishing dinner at 7 p.m., agree that the whole family will sit, have some drinks, rest a bit, then take out books and read until 8 p.m. Afterward, whoever wants to watch TV or do whatever they want can do so. Whoever wants to study can study. Just maintain 3 hours of reading each week. Do you know successful people like Elon Musk and Bill Gates read books with reflection and experience up to 5 hours per week? Our 3 hours per week is truly too little. Just maintain for your children 3 sessions per week, 1 hour each session, regularly for 3 to 6 months, and the habit of reading will seep into their blood. The important thing is that parents must set an example. If parents never read books but keep shouting, "You go read books," how can children possibly develop a reading habit? For example, if you work in a sales department, identify the necessary knowledge. Note that any department consists of 2 areas. The specialized area of that department, the area related to core values and business philosophy, building company culture. Books about company culture and team spirit can be shared across all departments. Similarly, books on personal development and self-motivation can also be used universally. Additionally, each department needs its own specialized library. For a sales department, this would include books on closing sales, product knowledge, understanding customer psychology, communication, presentation, document drafting, and essential information technology knowledge to better communicate with customers. A newcomer to the department can easily learn from this collection of books. This is how to build a solid knowledge foundation for both family and business, while nurturing a culture of continuous learning in your organization. When applying the 4 training circles model to a sales department, the elements that need to be developed become clearer. Third circle, skills in the sales department. Core skills needed in a sales department include communication skills, presentation skills, phone call skills, closing sales skills, product usage skills. Importantly, you must be able to use the product you're selling. These skills need to be clearly listed and bullet pointed so all department members can learn and develop them together. Second circle, personality, tendencies. In a sales department, the common personality tendency will be more extroverted than introverted. Let's assume a department has 10 people. You should recruit at least 8 extroverts. If you do the opposite and recruit 8 introverts, the sales department will be practically silent, as the nature of the work demands extroverted personalities. Within this extroverted group, there needs to be differentiation. Some people like to lead, others prefer being meticulous and handling logistics. Those who like to lead will take on exploring new markets, while those who lean toward thoroughness will nurture and maintain existing markets. Each person has their own personality, so it's important to understand this clearly to arrange personnel appropriately. Finally, ethics. Wisdom effort is the philosophy and culture of the business. No matter what you call it, company culture cannot be separated from this principle. If you lean too heavily toward ethics, you'll lack wisdom and perseverance. If you tilt toward perseverance, like a military model, you'll miss the gentleness of ethics. Ethics helps bind the team together, perseverance ensures execution, and wisdom guides both of these elements. These 3 factors need to be balanced. When a department understands and applies these 4 circles, building and developing the team becomes simple, no longer overly complicated. The 4 training circles can be flexibly applied to many areas: business, family, school, and especially personal development. When applying them to individuals, we need to clearly identify our core character and build it solidly. Morality, concentration, wisdom is a somewhat broad concept, so we need to make it more specific. In ethical development, we need to determine which element we want to develop first. For example, with the 4 qualities loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, some people choose to develop loving kindness first. Meanwhile, others choose to develop equanimity first and then develop other qualities later. In the concentration section, if following the Noble Eightfold Path, we need to identify what we should train first. Some people are good at calming the mind, one-pointedness. Others are good at observing the mind, and there are also those who excel at continuous effort. Development depends on each component. Regarding knowledge for personal development, we need to identify what skills we need to learn and use in life. More importantly, we must understand our own personality tendencies to choose corresponding careers and skills. Don't let yourself be led down a path that doesn't suit you. For example, with Einstein, if his parents had forced him to learn sales communication, perhaps he could never have become a good salesperson in his entire life because his personality tendency wasn't compatible with extroversion. Forcing an introvert to be extroverted will only make them suffer. Therefore, we need to clearly understand our personality tendencies to practice in the right direction. When applying all 4 of these circles to personal development, we will have an excellent, comprehensive personal development roadmap that suits ourselves.